I think that being a training institute in New York City, we have to be very sensitive to all of the different ethnic, cultural, and racial groups in New York City. So New York City is a very multicultural place with people from all over the world in all different kinds of circumstances. So our training tries to be sensitive to have an approach that takes into account that every family we see is unique, that they have a different ethnic and cultural heritage, that they may have a different immigration experience, and that they may be treated in New York City by virtue even of their skin color or their accent differently. And that experience in the larger system may also be impacting the mental health of the family and the mental health of the individuals within the family. So I think that is one of the challenges of being in New York City and having a training institute in this particular city. If we had a training institute in Iowa, which is where I came from, we had a very homogeneous population. So there was less attention to these dimensions of difference that make a difference for every family that is coming in. You're quite right that we do work from a systemic relational approach that actually takes into account other schools of family therapy. So, for example, in certain situations, we would use structural interventions. In other situations, we might think about a multi-generational influence, whether it was from a Bowen perspective or what themes and patterns of interaction were transmitted from a multi-generational perspective. We've been influenced by Jekyll and ideas of what beliefs systems have been, what are the beliefs about that particular behavior that the family might carry or the individual members might carry. We've been influenced by feminism and social justice models. And Mary, what else have I forgotten?
Narrativist
and also
social
by narrative and social construction, constructivist ideas. So we're very interested in understanding the problem from multiple perspectives as we develop what we consider a relational hypothesis. So we think that a problem is held in place or supported by multiple threads. And we're very interested in developing an idea with the family and with the members of the family about what those threads are that are holding that problem in place. And we may intervene once we have a relational hypothesis. We may intervene from a structural or strategic idea, but we wouldn't just, we would hold the nature of the problem from this more multi-complex idea that is influenced, by really about 5 places, 5 systemic ideas that are coming from narrative systems thinking, multi-generational, feminist, social constructivism.
Is it possible to you approach eclectic approach?
So we would not say it's eclectic, all right? Because we're so focused on creating a relational hypothesis, and because we believe that people who feel understood by their family members do better with their symptoms and their problem. So we are actually coming from a particular belief that suggests that when you feel relationally held and understood by those people closest to you, you do better. And so that isn't an eclectic idea.
Different approach for different family,
For a different moment in the
situations.
families, for a different moment. Well, so in New York, our therapists actually do a lot of collaboration with other hospitals, mental health providers, doctors. The ACS, which for us is the Child Protective Services. So the Department of Social Services we're in contact with because we have some court-mandated cases, other psychiatrists, so the school systems. We're in any case that is touching other systems, whether it's school, hospital, other doctors.
a network of
Yes.
intervened, no?
Yes, the therapist is in contact with. So I don't know whether that answers the question or not. In terms of other institutes, really our connection with other institutes is really just happening through national and international conferences. So independent of that, we're not, when I go to the American Family Therapy Academy, I see the head of the Chicago Family Institute, or I see the head of other institutes, and sometimes when we go to an international conference, I may see the heads of other institutes there, but there's no formal getting together. Three sources of money.
Okay.
The first is when families come, they pay a fee.
Yeah.
Some pay very little because we have a sliding fee scale. So some pay nothing or a very small amount of money, and others pay more money.
Yeah.
And some people come and the government, because they're poor, the government pays. So for the most economically disadvantaged, the government pays for their session. So that's a piece of our money. Another way we get money to support this is the trainees. The postgraduate training program charges tuition for the courses. Some of the students come and they pay the tuition. Some students come and they have a scholarship. And then we raise money. Then we raise money from donors, from philanthropists, from people who, in the United States, if you give money to a nonprofit, you get a tax write-off. Does that
Yeah,
make-
it's the same in Italy.
Same in Italy. So if you are generous to a nonprofit,
Yeah.
then it can benefit you with your taxes. And so we have a board of directors who we rely on to help us raise money. And a third of our budget, 1/3 of the budget, is fundraising, is donations.
That's
Fundraising.
So everybody that comes into the postgraduate training program has to be a licensed professional. So that means they already have their MD degrees, or they already have their PhD, or they already have their master's degree. And they've also had enough experience, they've been licensed by the state. All the people that come here in order to practice here, they have to go through our training. And the training involves a lot of attention to the self of the therapist. So, part of the training is they start out every family they see, they are watched behind a one-way mirror by their supervisor and the rest of the team. So for the first year, every single session they do is totally observed and then discussed. So that's pretty intense. Then the next year, once a month, they have to bring a family in front of the mirror, and every week they're watching other students' work, and they're taping in the offices, every office.
Yeah.
So they're watching their own work, and they're discussing where they get stuck, what the obstacles they're facing therapeutically, and how that relates actually to their own family of origin.
Mm-hmm.
So how we're very focused in our training on the self of the therapist, and where that may contribute to obstacles or blocks they may be having in how they're working with the family, and how they're seeing the family in their ability to not pathologize the family, and to think both systemically and relationally. I love it. I think it sounds. I really believe that families are best served from a large multidisciplinary frame that helps us. I love the mindfulness, and actually, we're very focused here as well around helping people calm down. The breadth, of being influenced by both neuroscience, which we know makes a difference, right? And I think for us that really fits into this experience of being deeply understood. We know neurobiologically calms people down, right? That it creates different kinds of neural pathways, that it's very healing to be in the presence of someone that really gets you, someone really understands you. So I think being influenced, by a number of different schools actually helps us develop better therapists, and I think it helps us do better treatment. So I loved hearing who your institute is influenced by, and I think there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
It's very simpatico. This is the reason that I don't think just being eclectic is okay, all right?
Yeah, she
Because
said before,
this is the difficulty. If it's just eclectic, then it's like, well, why?
Fuzzy logic.
Yeah, why are you choosing this over this? Why ask this question? We want our trainees to learn to be a therapist whose questions are guided. So what are they guided by? You know, what, are they guided? You have to have some kind of framework. And the framework for us is the Ackerman relational approach, which basically says in the beginning, in these initial interviews, you are questioning to get a very full, a very rich understanding of the presenting problem from every single family member. And you're trying to understand, both from the individual level and from the multi-generational level, what is holding that problem in place. Because many problems, almost have a pretty logical or rational solution that no one's taking. Right?
I think there is a basic action into the work with the patients and with the family. Is a basic way present in a different school of therapy. I think it is the rapport, the relationship,
The rapport, the
relationship, and the way of to be into the relation is the basic, I think, approach
Across schools,
across
yes.
school. As a
Yes, in the old days, you know,
Yeah.
Mnuchin and Haley called it joining,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.